Please welcome Tracee Ellis. Right here.
This is me. This is me.
All right, thank you so much. It is an honor.
It's an honor. Listen, this is my new bag.
Oh.
Could we get a stool? All right.
I've met a lot of people in my life. I've been a fan of yours. I have never met you personally.
I've never met you.
And you are more beautiful in person
You
and
are
energetic
very kind.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you. Thank you.
This is
thank
amazing.
you for being here.
Look at all these people, and we're at the Apollo.
That's right. And thank you to the General Insurance for creating this and presenting this game-changer conversation. So when I started FUBU, a lot of people told me that it only had limited potential. That's hip-hop. Oh, that's New York. Oh, that's baggy. Oh, that's black people. No, not just black people. It's powered by African Americans, but the entire world is inspired by African Americans, right? And I'm sure people told you that about Pattern Beauty, and that didn't stop you. So you launched it in 2019, but then the pandemic hit. How did that affect your business? But first of all, tell us what it is for those who don't know, and how did you power through it?
Okay, so Pattern Beauty is a hair care, a beauty brand for the curly, coily, and tight textured masses. That is part of the mission. We exceed the needs of the curly, coily, and tight textured masses. The other part of the mission, it's threefold. The other part of the mission is that we are an active space that is centered around the celebration of Black beauty. And the third leg of it is that we, on a regular basis, it's on the back of my packaging, support other organizations that support a like-minded mission of women and people of color. Right. But those are the three sort of cornerstones of the brand. And the mission, it took me 10 years to get the brand off the ground for a lot of the reasons that you just named that I'm sure came at you when you were starting FUBU. And so I had the idea for 10 years, and it took me a long time to get it off the ground. As soon as we launched, came the pandemic. When the pandemic hit, like everybody, no one knew what was going on. Right. But one of the things that happened is the discovery for me that hair care is self-care. So I had this inkling that we weren't going to go away. And although people weren't going into brick and mortar stores, online businesses started to soar. And because we are a mobile first brand, that's starting to shift as we have done well. But because we're a mobile first brand, our marketing is all based through social media and website and things like that, which creates an intimacy and a connection with our consumer anyway. So the truth is, during the pandemic, we made a shift, but it didn't really change what the business was doing.
And I think one of those things are key about it, because as a mobile shift brand, even if you have stuff in those retailers, you have to drive the people there. And a lot of people think that somebody else is going to do your job. The retailer has 1,000 products and brands in there. And just because you get in there, it doesn't mean you're going to stay in there.
No, and by the way, shelf space is, that's like the golden ticket. Yeah. But then it doesn't mean that you're going to keep that shelf space. And then how do you, all the pieces of the business. I didn't even know what a CEO was growing up. Right. I didn't know what an entrepreneur was. Right. So I had to learn all these things. And obviously I have partners and people that work with me that help me, but I'm the majority owner of the company. I have full creative control of the company. The vision is mine, the mission is mine. And so figuring out all those pieces, how do you get the people to understand what the brand is, who it's for, what the story, the message, the narrative of the brand is, then how do you get them to try the product? It's like a whole process, and the rhythm for shopping for hair care is very different, particularly for Black customers.
There's so much knowledge there because, as you said, you didn't know what a CEO was, an entrepreneur was, and you've been brought up in a very entrepreneurial family, right?
Creative family.
Creative.
My mother's entrepreneurship was out of her agency and her voice.
Yeah, right.
So my mom wasn't creating a product out of her thing. She was the product.
Right.
So I had no idea how you take a dream and take it out of your mind into the world. And I really had to educate myself. I had to surround myself around the right people. I had to ask questions. I had so many no's. Yeah. So many no's. But I got to tell you, the no's really helped.
I was talking to one of the CMOs, I think the CMO of Pepsi, and he said a no is a request for more information.
Oh, that's great.
And it was powerful when he said that to me.
That is great.
That is powerful, right?
Yeah.
But you have to hack yourself. Whenever I got no, I didn't take it personally. Like you said, I said, did I ask the right questions? Did I was able to convey the information in a proper way? Did I study the target well enough?
Yes.
Right?
Did I know what my promise was? Did I know what my mission was?
Did I deliver on it? Right. So I'm told that just the other day you were on stage somewhere in a shower washing your hair in front of a virtual audience.
This was a dream that came from 10 years ago when I was in that 10 years and I was dreaming up everything I wanted the company to be, right?
Right.
So one of the things for me was I wanted to create a paradigm shift around how Black people are marketed to. I want marketing that celebrates who I am and invites me into where I want to go.
That's right. Excellent.
So.
I agree.
So what I wanted to do was change the paradigm around how we as Black people are marketed to, actually create marketing that was centered around the celebration and the joy of our beauty. I wanted to make sure people knew that, like, yes, I use this, I use it. So I wanted to take a shower in a bathing suit, shot from here up.
Let's get into this amazing data and stat. Black women are in the lead when it comes to starting a business. That's a fact, right? But the biggest issue that I see here are Black women's sales are 5 times smaller than generally women-owned businesses. Mm-hmm. Why do you think this is happening, and what advice do you have for women of color facing that issue right now?
Well, let's start with this. Systemically, Black women are meant to be workers and wives. Mm-hmm. So anytime a Black woman moves beyond, outside of, adds to those things, you are bunking up against what the system wants from you. Mm-hmm. So if Black women's sales are lower than anyone else's sales, it ain't the Black women, it's the system.
What do you think we can do to change that? If there's anything, and you know what? This is way above both of our pay grades, right? We can only go off of what we've experienced and what we believe.
Yes, truthfully, I don't think it's above our pay grade.
Okay.
I think it is all of our responsibility to make these changes.
I'm talking about the analysis of it is a bunch, because of the system, it is us to change it, for sure. That's why we have the discussion right now.
Yes, and it's not just us. The advice I have is not for Black women. It's for those people that are in positions of power, and they might be Black women, who have the ability to make those changes. Right. To not just deal with diversity and inclusion, but also equity, which is where the systemic change occurs. So a lot of what I think needs to change is the pipeline. The other thing I will say in terms of not advice, but just I like to share what my experience has been. What that means to me is with great responsibility, with great, whatever, you know the expression. Every room I'm at, table I'm in, stage I'm on, I'm gonna use it for more than just me, period. That's just the way it goes. Some of the things that have been incredibly important for me have been name your mission. Create a business that is based on what you want to promise and what you want to give, not what you want to sell. Make sure that in your mission and your vision, you name it. Like you heard me say, the mission of the brand, exceed the needs of the curly, coily, and tight textured community. I was very specific about saying curly, coily, and tight texture because I don't believe hair has a gender or a race. However, the second part of that is that we are centered around the celebration of Black beauty. Those two things are inextricably tied to each other in terms of the mission of the brand. The other thing is let the no be and ask for more information. Let it inform you so that you keep clarifying your vision, keep your vision and your eye on the prize. One of the other ones is, create a great team around you. And if that team is not working, switch. You don't want yes people around you, but you want people that support you and get it and know that the way they see you is the way you see yourself. And don't ever let somebody else's idea of you limit your vision of yourself.
We have our job that we have to do. Yes, the cards are stacked against us, but there's information that Tracee is sharing today, and in her new docuseries, The Hair Tales, right? She had that. Please. And it's going to premiere on OWN and Hulu this month, and you're the executive producer of the series. Importantly, though, check this out. And the creative team is also composed entirely of women of color. So, why was there an importance to have women of color as the creative team? And I want to hear your game-changing last words of advice to everybody of all colors watching you.
So The Hair Tales is a 6-part docuseries that explores, celebrates, discovers Black women and our humanity told through the lens of our hair, using hair as an organizing principle. And in order to tell that story, it felt really important that we surround our crew and everybody with people who this was a story of their own and a story that they could connect to, because this was a love letter to Black women. And so that was a really intentional thing that we did from the start. I don't know that I have some game-changing advice.
You already gave it. I just want a couple of parting words. If you had to say, listen, you know what? Here's what I want to tell you to think about.
I named this thing called emotional cash that I feel is something that as Black people and as people of color and as Black women, we often have to spend a lot of cash trying to prove our worth, either the worth of our idea or our hair or our identities, say like, I'm worth this, and we spend so much time doing that that we don't often get the same chance to then go and do the thing we want to do. Find a community and a tribe and a space for you where you can be held when the emotional cash is spent. Because it is a part of, unfortunately, this world that we live in, that we are still trying to make a freer, better place. You gotta have the support that you need. None of us does this alone. I absolutely do not. My success is never just mine. I can't believe who I've become, and I don't mean the things around me. I mean the person I am inside. Mm-hmm. You guys, you keep loving yourself, okay? Because the world's not always gonna mirror that back. But you keep loving yourself, and you will have a life you like.
Absolutely. Well, to end that, I think that's really powerful. And I want to make sure everybody knows that we love Tracee Ellis Ross. Thank you to the General Insurance for this game-changer conversation, and Tracee Ellis Ross. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So beautiful.
Oh my God, that was amazing.